Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. We're doing an IELTS reading class looking at a reading passage called the Tapestry of Lives. This is about a very special piece of fabric in a culture. You'll learn all about this very, very soon. That tells the story of young couples. Students, we are bringing this lesson to you and these materials from aehelp.com for academic IELTS. Visit us there. For the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. These are the websites that power these live classes. For the academic IELTS, it's this website here at aehelp.com with the blue background. Click the big red button to join the premium version of the course. It's a one-time payment. You get lifetime access. We're an IDP affiliate, a British Council partner, an IELTS test registration center. I have been teaching IELTS for almost 20 years. I've created exams, examined students, and I have been an examinee myself. Click that button, use the code VISIT9 for an extra 10% discount. Hi Anna, welcome Domenico, welcome students, welcome Caroline, our chat moderator. This is our general IELTS website here with the green background. Click this big red button there that's just kind of behind me. Again, it's a one-time payment for lifetime access. It does not cost a lot of money. We would like to help as many students as possible, and we even make it as affordable as possible depending on your local currency and country. So check it out. Students, premium students who do have premium accounts on those websites, I'm sending you your Zoom links today for your premium classes. Those of you curious about how those are, check out this link. And you can use these for learning as well. And there you are. Okay, so the apps are Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help. They link to the websites. You get those as well when you join, and they make learning convenient. Instagram is IELTS_AE and G IELTS Help. It has reels and videos that help you learn. If you want to edit videos and you want to join our awesome video editing team, send us your CV. My email is adrian@aehelp.com or admin@aehelp.com. Students, we have reading right now. This is a members chat class. Members chat means that it's for YouTube members or YouTube membership. It's a little bit different than the website membership. YouTube membership, you have a few different options. And we have one members chat class each week. Then we'll have listening part 1 and 2 with a listening exam taken from the websites. Tomorrow we'll have speaking part 2 and speaking part 3. And then on Sunday we'll have a premium class on Zoom for our premium students. Check out this video when you have a moment. All right. Students, let's get into some reading. I know we had a little bit of a late start today. I am aware there was some kind of a glitch with YouTube, but it seems to be okay now. Let's get going. This reading session, make sure to read with me, read aloud, okay? So let's jump right in. This is the passage for today. It is Tapestry of Lives, the Kyrgyzstashkiz. I can't really pronounce that all that well, but that doesn't matter. Okay, in the reading, you don't have to pronounce every word perfectly, especially when it's kind of a foreign, interesting word. All right. So tapestry, again, it's a type of cloth artwork. It's a woven piece of artwork. If you looked at the thumbnail and you looked at that art that's in front of me, that would be Tapestry. All right, students. So in the reading, you look at the title, Tapestry of Lives, the Kyrgyz Tushkits. If I were in the IELTS exam, this would appear interesting yet unfamiliar for me. So I would be like, that looks interesting, but I'm not really sure what that means. Tapestry of Lives says a bit to me, but not too much. Kyrgyz Tushkits says it's probably from a different culture, and it's some kind of an art piece. So here I would go to the questions, okay, and I would definitely review the questions to get a little bit of a better understanding of what this could be about. So again, read with me, students. You will also have a chance to read, and then you will be the ones answering the questions, okay? So here it says, choose no more than one word from the passage for each answer. Write your answer in boxes 28 to 35 on your answer sheet. 28. Nations and cultures around the world have something that are carried out at weddings, such as the breaking of the glass at Jewish ceremonies. So when you're reading these, it's okay to try to guess what the word might be, but don't be too sure. So don't be too confident that you can guess the word. Let the passage give you the answer. So if I'm looking at this and I'm reading 28, nations and cultures around the world have something that are carried out at weddings, such as the breaking of the glass at Jewish ceremonies. So maybe here you're thinking, okay, well, this word could be something like traditions. However, before you get too excited, just keep going forward. Make a mental note that, okay, that could be the word. And then go on and let the passage give you the answer once you've read the passage. Okay? Domenico, I am enjoying my morning cup of coffee, savory coffee. Thank you. I hope you've had a nice cup of Joe as well in Los Angeles there. Or actually, you're in Florida now, if I'm not mistaken. So your morning's a little bit ahead. All right. 29. Let's go, students. Let's read aloud. Again, let's do this together. Translated as edges of felt, the tushkits is generally made by hand and hung on a something. Maybe a wall. Okay. Number 30. A symbol of pride among the Kyrgyz people, the tushkits are very large objects or important objects as they reflect particular interests of the couple and what is meaningful to them. Okay, by this point, number 30, I'm starting to realize that this tapestry or this cloth has special meaning. It's the special part of the Kyrgyz people's tradition, and it's probably something to do with weddings. Okay, so when people are getting married. Now, this type of reading passage could be your reading in the academic IELTS, or it could be section 3 in the general IELTS. And yes, you could get this type of reading for sure. All right, 31. Another interesting aspect of the tushkits is that its symbolism can also reflect something important, such as when they include symbolism associated with the cotton industry. Maybe cultural importance. For decades, the inclusion of the Soviet hammer and sickle symbol was commonplace on tushkits. This showed the couples something for the Soviet rulers. Number 33. The Shimladik is a special area inside the yurt which is hidden behind a curtain, and in front of the tushgiz. In addition to its usage as the backdrop for the wedding ceremony, the tushgiz also represents a portion of the something brought to the bond by the woman. I know this word, and I'm guessing it's going to be this word. Let's see. Anybody know what that is? Domenico? Anna? Carolina? Romelia? So the tushgiz also represents a portion of the something brought to the bond by the woman. In certain cultures, historically, the woman or the man would bring some valuable objects, inheritance from their family, like gold or animals, livestock, land, and that would be considered part of the gift of the wedding. That has a special name. Anybody know what that is? That's what I would guess for this blank here in number 34. If you've paid attention or have investigated various wedding traditions around the world, then you can probably guess this word, and that's what I would guess. That looks like it's most likely the word that goes in here. Now again, don't be too confident. It could be a different word. Yeah, it's a dowry. Exactly, Romelia. That's what I would guess is a dowry. Okay, it's called a dowry. We'll find out. Now, why am I guessing? So some of you are like, well, why are you guessing if you're not sure, right? Well, because that allows me to understand the passage better. Okay, so, but I would guess that the word that goes in there is something like dowry. Okay, good vocabulary, Romelia. All right, number 35. Commonly orange and red in color. Tushgiz also includes patterns on the inside of the tapestry that are something in their detail. I don't know. Colorful gold. Okay. Now we have some multiple choice questions, and here's some multiple choice strategy. Before you read, only read the questions. Do not read the answers, because most of them are wrong or confusing. In multiple choice, think about the questions as statements. Okay, try to paraphrase them, because in the reading they're not going to be presented as questions most likely, and they're not going to be presented with the same words. So the same concept goes for listening section multiple choice questions. And we have a listening section coming up after this class. So multiple choice is a very popular question format. It appears on the IELTS. If you take TOEFL, then most of the exam, if not all of it, is multiple choice questions. Universities, colleges, high schools love multiple choice for many reasons. Firstly, they're fast and relatively effective to administer. They don't take as much administration time. Okay. All right. So here we have the questions. Number 36. How many sides of the tushgiz lack a border? So in the reading, the paraphrase might look something like this. The number of sides that do not have a border are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or it will say something like 3 of the 4 sides have a border, and then you know that 1 does not. All right, 37. Oh, excuse me. That was a good sneeze. All right, 37. What is the main point of the tushgiz? Again, in the passage, you might see something like the main purpose of the tushgiz is. Okay. Now, of course, in your real IELTS, they're not going to paraphrase for you. Thank you, Carolina. They're not going to paraphrase for you. Don't read all of these choices because they're confusing. Okay, just focus first on reading the question and then transition to paraphrasing. Okay. All right. 38. What does the tushgiz represent? The tushgiz mostly shows. Okay. Why aren't Tushkits often sold? The Tushkits can rarely be purchased because. And number 40, today, where is the cultural practice of the Tushkits most common? Paraphrasing this, nowadays, the tapestry is most often seen around and then something, right? So that's the paraphrasing. Again, students, to learn all of the right strategies for all of the question types, make sure you go to our website, join the premium version of the course, go to your My Student account, go to the full online academic course, click on the reading section, and go through all of the different question strategies. Okay. In the reading section, you will find that there are 11 kinds of questions usually in the reading. You have matching information, category table completion, filling in the blanks. And then these ones you can read before the passage. They contain information that's in the passage. And then you've got other questions that are not all in the passage, and you read them after. Okay? All right. So let's do the reading, everybody. We'll come back later to reading with the students. Let's read the passage together. I'm going to read and you read with me. Okay, so let's do a read along, nice and loud. You should always read the passage in the IELTS exam. And even if you don't, even if you think that skimming and scanning will work for you, then at least at home when you're practicing, make sure to read the passages. Okay. So be sure to read these passages at home. Improve your English, your fluency, your reading. Okay? You can't go wrong by improving your reading skills in English. All right, here we go, everybody. So let's read this together. Tapestry of Lives, the Kyrgyz Tushkids. Cultures around the world have wedding customs, both modern and traditional. These may be actions such as the breaking of glass at Jewish ceremonies or the sawing of a log at German weddings. Customs can also be gifts, such as the Fijian custom of the groom presenting the bride's father with a sperm whale's tooth. In the Central Asian nation of Kyrgyzstan, one important custom is the gift of the traditional tushkiz. Tushkiz, literally translated as edges of felt, are elaborate wall hangings or tapestries. They are made by hand by the bride's mother and grandmother and often take many months or even years to make. They are given to the newly married couple as a symbol of their union and as a symbol of their pride in Kyrgyz history and tradition. Tushkids are deeply personal. While in the past these tapestries reflected general social interests in the form of ancient themes such as religious and cultural symbolism, in the 20th century, the custom moved towards incorporating the particular interests of the couple and what was meaningful to them. However, cultural symbolism is still common. For example, imagery associated with the cotton industry is a common theme in 20th century Tushkids. Because the cotton industry was of such immense economic importance, it had taken on cultural importance as well. Tushkids, especially during the Soviet period, were also opportunities to demonstrate one's support for the Soviet regime in Moscow. Oftentimes, tushkits of the period would include communist symbolism such as the hammer and sickle, which adorn the Soviet flag. They may also have celebrated Kyrgyz contributions to the Soviet Union, such as the region's role in the Federation's space program of the 1950s and 60s. These elegant tapestries are more than just a wedding gift. They also play an important role in the Kyrgyz wedding ceremony. The bride, on the wedding day, sits in a chimildik, or curtained-off area inside a special yurt in front of the tushkits, embroidered by her loved ones. The tushkits acts as the backdrop to the wedding ceremony, symbolizing the union of two individuals as well as two families. Furthermore, it constitutes part of the dowry the bride brings to the marriage. And after the wedding, it takes a special place in the yurt, the house of the newly married couple. The tushkits themselves are quite large. In general, they measure approximately 6 feet tall by 12 feet wide, or about 2 meters tall by 3 meters wide. Notably, they are almost always highlighted by orange or red tones, including the outer edge, which is generally a solid color, as opposed to the diverse color palette and intricate pattern detail of the interior of the tapestry. One interesting aspect of the tushkits is that the outer border traces only 3 of the 4 sides of the fabric. The bottom is borderless. The reason for this is based in the tapestry's ceremonial aspect. The tushkits is not primarily a piece of art, though it is certainly beautiful and worthy of aesthetic appreciation. Rather, its primary purpose is as a framing of the bride and then the married couple. That is, the body and especially the head of the bride, and eventually the groom, are an integral part of the tushkits. The fabric itself acts as the cultural foundation for the couple. It is literally and figuratively their background. It is where they come from and who they are. And yet they sit facing outwards from the tapestry as if their background does not define their future. Due to their personal nature, tushkits are not often bought and sold. Instead, they take on the role of family heirloom, something to be treasured. Sadly, it seems in recent years the tradition of the tushkits is falling out of practice in Kyrgyzstan. The effects of globalization and urbanization have eroded the impact of traditional cultural practices. Today, the tradition of the tushkits is continued primarily in the ever-shrinking rural communities of Kyrgyzstan. While big cities may offer economic prosperity, it is also important to remember where one comes from. If we only look forward, we miss the rich cultural tapestry lying behind us, figuratively and literally. All right, students. So that's the reading, and then we go to the questions. But before we go there, I'd like some volunteers to read this, and I've got a Zoom link for you. We're using Zoom right now for our readings. So I'm going to start up this Zoom session, and I'll put the link into the chat here for us so that you can join this Zoom session and volunteer to read and work through these questions with me. So there's the Zoom link. Go ahead and join up, students. I will see you joining. To get 2 full Zoom classes each week. Again, students, just remember that when you become a premium member at aehelp.com and gieltshelp.com, you get 2 Zoom classes each week. And for that, you need to go to aehelp.com and gieltshelp.com. Sign up for the premium versions of these websites. You get over 120 speaking interview lessons. You click on these big red buttons and you're good to go. All right, let's see. We've got some participants coming in, Romelia and Hamid. I'm going to put on my headset here. All right. So again, the Zoom link, viewers, is in the chat here. You just click on that. As long as you have Zoom, you're good to go. Okay. And here in Zoom, let me just show you how this works. Okay. So here in Zoom, I can't use my camera, but you can if you wish. Okay, just make sure you're aware that your camera's on. If it's on, under more, you have reactions, and then you can click raise hand to volunteer to read. So if you'd like to read, you can raise your hand. If you have a question, you can raise your hand about the IELTS reading or the IELTS exam, and then you can also lower your hand like that. So if anybody wants to read, we've got a few people in here so far, 4 people. Then just put up your hand and read. Definitely a good way to improve your English. I'm not going to force you to read, so Ola Wunmi, if you'd like to read, let me know. Put up your hand. Romelia, maybe you would like to read. Somebody in the chat has said yes. Okay, Romelia.
Hello.
Hi, Romelia. How are you?
Not bad, thank you.
Not bad. Okay.
I'd like to have a go with this passage.
You are your usual cheery self, right? All right. Romelia, yeah, sure, let's do this. So, Tapestry of Lives. I've got the passage back up on the screen from paragraph 1. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and read from the top. And Romelia,
okay.
Before you begin, I've heard you read before, and I know your reading style. Before you begin, focus on not reading too fast. So you don't have to read too fast.
Okay.
Instead of reading really fast, focus on nice intonation, really just paying attention to the punctuations. Okay?
Okay.
All right, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Cultures around the world have wedding customs, both modern and traditional. These may be actions such as the breaking of glass in Jewish ceremonies or the sewing of a log at German wedding. Customs can also be gifts, such as the fission custom of the groom presenting the bride's father with a sperm whale's tooth. In the Central Asian nation of Kyrgyzstan, one important custom is the gift of the traditional pastries.
Okay, let's stop there for 1 sec, Romelia. So this is the introduction, correct?
Yeah.
All right. And what is the author doing here? What's the author's goal with the introduction?
Like providing us an insight into the variety of customs, mentioning the
variety of what kind?
Yeah.
What kind of customs? So the author introduces the variety of what kind of customs? Wedding customs, right?
Yeah, wedding
customs. Okay, yeah, so talks about the Jewish wedding custom of breaking the glass, right? I'm sure you've probably seen that where they wrap it in like some kind of cloth. I don't know if it's a bottle or a cup or something, and then they step on it, I think, right? Have you ever seen that, the Jewish wedding ceremony where they step on the glass on the yeah? Have you ever seen the German one where they saw the log? I think it's like a big saw, and the woman holds one side and the man holds the other side, and then they saw back and forth. Have you seen that one where they saw the log in the German wedding? No?
Yeah.
Okay, so why, Romelia? Why do you think the
Probably the common ground here is for good luck.
Yeah, I agree with you. So for some meaning, right? Like it's kind of it's solidifying that relationship. And you know, why does the author go through this breaking of glass, the sawing of the log, the Fijian sperm whale tooth? There's also something else that the author's trying to do here for the reader. Anybody in the chat? Anna, what do you think, Romelia?
Symbols.
Why?
Those objects used are symbols of something.
Correct. And what do you think the author wants the reader to do? What do you think? The author wants, I can feel it. It's almost like the author's kind of pushing me to do this.
Magic thinking. I don't know.
Visualizing, right? Visualizing. So when I'm reading this, I feel like, oh, the author is really trying to kind of nudge me to visualize, to see this information, right? So they want you to kind of feel like you're a part of this information, okay? All right, Romelia, read one more. Read the next paragraph.
Okay. Tashkes, literally translated as edges of felt, are elaborate walls hanging on tapestries. They are made by hand by the bride's mother or grandmother, and often take many months or even years to make. They are given to the newly married couple as a symbol of their union and as a symbol of their pride in Kyrgyz history and tradition.
Okay. What's this paragraph for? What's the purpose?
About the connotation of this object.
Yeah, exactly.
Just simple objects are more than that.
Yeah, it's the explanation of the tush kids, right? Of what it actually is, right? Who makes it? Why is it important? What it is, right? Exactly. So again, when you're in the IELTS exam and you're actually doing the IELTS exam, then it's really important to stop at the end of each paragraph and think to yourself, you know, what did I just read? If you read through the whole passage nice and quickly, as you sometimes do, Romelia, then the information for many people will just kind of melt together into this giant melted ball of information. And then it's really hard to answer questions when you have this big melted ball of information. So you have to be kind of cautious about that and really just stop after each paragraph for a few seconds and think about, what was that paragraph about? So you want to do that. Romelia, make sure you're visualizing. Okay, really imagine this, right? So you have to think, like, I know you're in Romania, right? Here, ideally, you'd be visualizing what happens at a Romanian wedding. So what do Romanians do, Romelia, in a wedding?
No.
Can you hear me, Romelia?
Now yes.
Yep.
It was the moment when the connection was.
Yeah. So what do the couple, the groom and the bride, what do they do in Romanian weddings? What's the tradition?
Oh. For example, when the bride is stolen in our culture, and the bride has, the man has to, the groom has to pay a little fee to.
He has to pay a fee.
Back.
Ah, yeah. Okay. I like it. All right. Okay, Romelia, thank you so much for volunteering and for reading. I appreciate you.
Okay.
All right, I think we had a little bit of a connection issue there, but we got some good information from Romelia there and some good reading. Let me just see. I think we've got some more participants here. Again, students, for those of you who are just joining in, let me give you the link again for this Zoom session. So this is the Zoom session here. Okay, I just put it into the chat again. Let's get Ola Wunmi to speak a little bit. Ola Wunmi, can you unmute yourself? Hi, Ola Wunmi. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can kind of hear you now. You sound a little bit distant.
Oh,
Let me turn
how do
up.
I shout now?
Here, I'll turn up my volume. There. Now it's a little bit better. All right. Ola Wunmi, let's do some reading first, continuing from where Romelia left off. So you will see the passage come up. Just read from here. The tush gits are deeply personal.
Okay, I think, okay, now I say it. Yeah. So, tush keys are deeply personal. While in the past, these tapestries reflected general social interest in the form of ancient themes, such as religious and cultural symbolism. In the 20th century, the custom moved towards incorporating the particular interest of the couple and what was meaningful to them. However, cultural symbolism is still common. For example, imagery associated with the cotton industry is a common theme in 20th century tushkis because the cotton industry was of such immense economic importance. It had taken on cultural importance as well.
Okay, so what is the author telling the reader in this paragraph?
I think it's trying to tell us about the history of the tushki.
I don't think it's the history so much. It's a little bit different. So think about the topic sentence. It says tush gits are deeply personal. While in the past these tapestries reflected general social interests, in the 20th century the custom moved towards incorporating the particular interests of the couple and what was meaningful to them. So what is that? It's a long sentence here. It's the second sentence here. It's a long one. Sorry, it's a long one. But that's basically the main purpose of this this body paragraph. What is it focusing on?
If I sound stupid, doesn't matter. But I think really that it's maybe the practice of the tushkis according to individual practices or interests.
It's so sometimes it seems like it could be really complicated, but there's usually one or two words that are like the subject or object nouns that define the focus of what it's talking about. Here, the key word here is theme. Are you familiar with this word theme? It's like the content, right? So the author's goal here is to explain the theme of the tapestry. So basically the author says a long time ago it was like the cultural theme, so their religion, their belief system, but these days it's more like the personal interests of the Kyrgyz couple, so what the couple are interested in rather than the whole culture. So it's focusing on the theme of the tapestry, what it's showing. Does that make sense?
Okay, could I also say that probably the themes have changed over centuries?
Yes, so exactly. So it's saying the themes have changed, and it's exactly, and it's expressing what this theme is, right? So when you're reading the body paragraphs, everybody, really pay attention to the topic, right? There's usually one or two words that express the topic of that body paragraph. Let's try one more. So go ahead, Olawunmi, and read the next body paragraph.
So,
Mm-hmm.
Tushkis, especially during the Soviet period, were also opportunities to demonstrate one's support for the Soviet regime in Moscow. Oftentimes, Tushkis of the period would include communist symbolism, such as the hammer and sickle, which adorned the Soviet flag. They may also have celebrated creeds, contributions to the Soviet Union, such as the region's role in the Federation's space program of the 1950s and the 1960s.
Okay, good. So in this case, what is the main goal of this body paragraph?
Probably the national symbolism of the Tushkis.
And what national symbolism specifically in this case?
Of Moscow, Russia.
Soviet, right? So
Soviet.
Russia is only a part of the Soviet regime, but yes, so it's the national Soviet influence. You have to be careful, right? Because and in the IELTS, everybody, you have to be accurate. So of course these days we have lots of news of Russia because of the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, but in the 20th century it wasn't just Russia, it was the Soviet Union, which actually included the Ukraine, ironically. So we have to be careful, because on the IELTS or on an exam, if you put Russia instead of Soviet, then they'll mark it wrong, right? Because you're actually talking about a different geographic region. So you have to be really careful, really, really careful. So the National Soviet influence on this tradition, right? That would be the most accurate way to say this. So we have to be careful. Let's do one more. Go for it. The next one.
Okay, these elegant tapestries are more than just a wedding gift. They also play an important role in the Kyrgyz wedding ceremony. The bride on the wedding day sits on a shineldik or curtained off area inside a special yacht in front of the tushkis, embroidered by her loved ones. The tushkis act as a backdrop to the wedding ceremony, symbolizing the union of two individuals as well as two families. Furthermore, it constitutes part of the dowry the bride brings to the marriage, and after wedding, it takes a special place in the yacht's house of the newly married couple.
Okay, so what is the goal of this body paragraph?
It further explains how this tradition is done during weddings. It talks about how it's...
Exactly. Now simplify it. So whenever you're practicing for the IELTS at home and you're reading the passages, what your goal should always be is to have the most simple, or have the simplest and most accurate summary. So explains the role of this tapestry during the wedding ceremony and after, right? Okay, so just nice and simple. Nice and simple. Ola Wunmi, thank you so much for
Thank you so much, Adrian.
volunteering. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, that was Ola Wunmi. By the way, big thumbs up to Romelia and Ola Wunmi. I know it's challenging and sometimes a little bit scary. It's tricky. Thumbs up to Romelia and Ola Wunmi. Okay, Murtazo. Can you unmute yourself? Flower and Dimitri are also here now. That's great.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Murtazo. How are you?
Hi, Sam. I am great. How are you?
I'm pretty good as well. Thank you for asking. All right, Murtazo, are you ready to continue where Ola Wunmi left off?
I think I can.
I think you can. Start from here. The tushkits themselves are quite large.
The tushkis themselves are quite large. In general, they measure approximately 6 feet tall by 12 feet wide, or about 2 meters tall by 3 meters wide, notably. They are almost always highlighted by orange or red tones, including the outer edge, which is generally a solid color as opposed to the diverse color palette and intricate pattern details of interior of the
Tapestry.
interior of the tapestry. One interesting aspect of the tashkil is that the outer border traces only 3 of the 4 sides of the fabric. The bottom side is borderless. Seeing the text is becoming difficult because you are hiding the text on the YouTube. And
okay, you should be able to see it. It should be moving.
The reason for this is based in the tapestry's ceremonial aspect. The tushki is not primary place for art, though it is certainly beautiful and worthy of artistic. Its primary purpose is the forming of the bride, and then is the body and especially the head of bride and an integral part of the tushkis. The fabric itself acts as a cultural foundation for the couple. It's literally and figuratively their background. It's where they come from and who they are, and yet they sit facing outwards from their background. Doesn't define their future.
Okay, that was good. All right, Murtazo. So here the question is, what is the goal here of this paragraph?
It's about brides.
Yes, it's about the bride and the groom, and what else? So here, you've got a very specific description of the tushkits, right? It says it's 6 feet tall by 12 feet wide, or 2 meters by 3 meters, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we should be doing here, and by the way, students, when you're in the IELTS exam, and you're going to think I'm crazy, but when you're in the IELTS exam and you have this kind of a paragraph, you can actually use your note paper and you can actually draw the picture that they're describing, because here the author is literally drawing you a picture in your head. So the author says that this tushkits has got a solid colored border, okay, on 3 sides like this. Okay, the bottom is open, so there's no border on the bottom, right? The inside color is usually orange and has intricate patterns, and I think the other color was red. I could be mistaken, but red colors as well. And then the bride and the groom sit in front of the tushkits during the ceremony. Okay, looking forward. Are you seeing all of this, Murtazo?
Yeah, I'm seeing this. Tushkits, yeah, I am from Central Asia, but it's a new thing for me. Yeah.
Okay.
We have in our culture the things that's like Tushkits is çimildik, and Tushkits I have never seen this.
I guess you just have to go to Kyrgyzstan to see them, right?
Yeah.
Well, remember what the passage says, though, right? That they're very personal objects, so they don't get sold, they don't move around. These objects stay in their homes, right? They're very, very special objects, so it's not a surprise that we don't see them, and they're very personal, private objects, so it's not a surprise. I'm sure if we search the internet, we'll find more information on it, but they're not very public objects, right? So they're very culturally protected. But anyway, here we should be seeing this kind of picture, and we should even see the dimensions of it, right? So the author says that the height here is 2 meters, and the width is about 3 meters. And the reason that it's behind them is because they're looking towards the future when they're getting married, right? Probably children and family and so on. So here it's a very clear description. If you're not seeing this picture after this body paragraph, everybody, then you definitely have to stop and reconsider how you're doing your IELTS exam. Okay, you really have to see that image. Okay, Mortazo, one more paragraph here. Go for it.
Okay. Can you show full of paragraph?
You'll see it in just a second. It takes a minute because there's a delay between YouTube and the live stream. So you'll see it due to their personal nature. Mm-hmm.
Due to their personal nature, tashkis are not often bought and sold. Instead, they take on the role of family heirloom, something to be treasured. Sadly, it seems in recent years of tradition of tashkis is falling out of practice in Kyrgyzstan. The effects of globalization and urbanization have eroded the impact of traditional culture practices. Today, the tradition of the tashkis is continued primarily in the ever-shrinking rural communities of Kyrgyzstan. Okay, let's see. Can you show?
Yep, you'll see it in a couple of seconds here. While big cities may offer economic.
Okay. Big cities may offer economic prosperity. It's also important to remember where one comes from. If we only look forward, we miss the rich cultural tapestry lying behind us, figuratively or literally.
Okay. What is the conclusion telling us here? So obviously this is the conclusion.
The author tells about we are improving, we are developing, but we are forgetting about old traditional things, and it's not good thing.
Yeah, specifically this tapestry, right? So this practice of the Turshkits, we're kind of losing this. All right, Mortazo, that was really good reading. Remember 2 points. One, really visualize. And when the author is describing the specifics, like how high, how wide it is, the colors, you can actually draw a quick little picture during your IELTS exam while you're reading that paragraph, so it's kind of in your head and you can see it, right? It's really helpful. So make sure to practice that. And the second point, Mortazo, make sure to read every word when you're reading. Don't skip words, okay?
Okay, thank you so much for your advice.
Okay, thank you for reading, Mortazo. That was awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, that was Mortazo. That was really good. We've got lots more people in the Zoom session now, which is great. Anybody want to volunteer to answer some of these questions? These are filling in the blanks, very common on the IELTS. It's choose no more than one word from the passage. Carolina says, nice job, Mortazo. Yeah, it was a nice job. Absolutely, I agree. Anybody want to volunteer to answer? We could do them together, but if somebody wants to talk through the questions with me, that would be great. We've got a nice list of people in the Zoom session here. So Dimitri, Lynette, Azim, Flower, Abraham, anybody want to volunteer? All you have to do is raise your hand in the reactions. Raise hand like that. I think the AI sometimes will actually catch you raising your hand if you do that in front of your camera. And then you can lower your hand. All right. I know some of you joined a little bit late and you're like, oh. Ariadna is also joining in. Lynette, did you want to try? It looks like you're trying to connect your audio. Lynette, did you want... Hi, Lynette. Are you there? Lynette, can you hear me? I can kind of hear you. No? All right. Okay, well, until I see somebody raise their hands, I won't force you. We'll go through it together. Nations and cultures around the world have something that are carried out at weddings, such as the breaking of the glass at Jewish ceremonies. Now, I thought the word here was traditions, but that's actually wrong. It's not traditions. The text used a different word there. Did anybody catch what the word was? Excuse me. Olawunmi, if you'd like, you can try. I see you still have your hand up, or you raised your hand back up. Olawunmi, are you there?
Yeah, I'll need to give the answer to it.
What do you think is the answer to this one?
Customs.
Very good. Yeah, good for you. Do you know why I remembered that word? I think maybe you for the same reason. Remember, you were here at the beginning of the class, right, Olawunmi?
Yes, I will.
Okay, and remember when I said, to look at these questions before you read the passage? Do you remember that part?
Yes, absolutely.
And remember when I said that when I was reading this, I said nations and cultures around the world, and then I thought, probably the word is maybe traditions, it seems to fit, that are carried out. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then I said to everybody, I said, it's okay, or it's a good idea to think about the word that could be in the space, but don't be too confident. Wait for the passage. Do you remember that when I said that part?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Now, I that's why I think you figured out this answer so fast, because you were like me. So at the beginning of the passage, it says, can you read just the very, very first sentence in the introduction?
Okay. It says cultures around the world have wedding customs, both modern and traditional.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, Olawunmi, but when I read this sentence and I read this wedding customs, in my head I was like, oh, it's not traditions. They're using kind of the synonym. They're using the word customs. It really jumped out at me because I thought about the word traditions when I was reading the questions. Did that happen in your head too?
Yes, it did.
Right? Of course. That's why you're like, okay, I think the word is customs. Yeah, it just, because I tried to predict the answer, but I wasn't married to the answer, so I wasn't 100% sure. I was just kind of trying to predict it. My brain was able to go, oh, they didn't use the word tradition, they used the word custom. And I didn't stop, but I knew I was like, okay, I can remember that when we get back to that question. So that's how that works. That's how effective that is. So it's customs. Can you read 29 for us, please? You'll see it on the screen in just a moment.
Translated as edges of belts. The tush keys is generally made by hand and hung on a wall.
It could be a wall, right? I think it was a wall. I don't know. I don't have photographic memory. So I think it was a wall as well. Now, in the real IELTS exam, okay? So Olawunmi, everybody, listen up. In the real IELTS exam, in a perfect situation, about half of the questions, like this first one, you can answer them without looking at the text. You should not be searching for every single answer. That is really bad, okay? You will run out of time. You can't skim read or scan for every single answer. It doesn't work like that, and it's really hard to do well. So if you can get half of them, like you can get customs, then it's fine. If you can get wall, and you're like, I'm sure it's wall, then fine, leave it. If you're not sure, right, this is where you can kind of check, okay? Now, there's a big difference between knowing where to check and just randomly checking. So if I just start looking all over the place in the text, then that's going to take a lot of time. But I don't necessarily have to do that. Olawunmi, where do you think I will find this answer? For 29, where should I be looking? If I have to check and make sure that's the right answer, where should I look?
The second paragraph.
Exactly, because remember the first one, it introduces the different traditions, and then at the very end it says the Turkish gets is tapestry in the Kyrgyzstan tradition, and then the second body paragraph, it was the one where Romelia read that, if I'm not mistaken, and then we talked about it, and she said, yeah, this is where they tell us what it is, right? Like what this actually is. So we're looking for the word wall. And then we're in the second body paragraph. And then here it says, can you read the first sentence? Tuskis, literally translated.
Okay. Tuskis, literally translated as edges of felt, are elaborate wall hangings or tapestries.
So where do they hang it?
Wall.
On the wall, because they're wall hangings, right? So it's a different word for them, and they kind of paraphrase it. It's a little bit tricky, but if you're paying attention, you go, oh, they're hung on a wall because they're wall hangings, right? So they must be hung on a wall. It only makes sense. So the correct answer is wall hangings. I can confirm my inference very quickly, and then I can move on to question 30. Go ahead and read question 30 for us, Olawunmi.
A symbol of pride among the Kurdish people, tushkis are very dash objects as they reflect particular interest of the couple and what is meaningful to them.
Okay, so what do you think goes into this space here?
I think personal.
I agree. They're very personal objects. Remember the discussion I had with Mortazo? And Mortazo said he's from that part of the world, but he's never seen one of these.
Yeah.
Remember? And I said to him, I said, probably because they're so personal. People don't show them off. It's not something that they take a picture of and post it on social media. So they're very personal objects. So that's why we don't really see too many of these, right? Now, when you're doing the IELTS exam, okay, here's another important tip, everybody. Olawunmi, this word personal.
Yes.
This word personal. How sure are you? 50%, 70%, 80%, 90%, 95%, or 100% sure that it's personal?
70%.
70%? Okay, so if you're 70% sure, what I would recommend doing is checking. If you're 80, 85% sure, like you're quite sure, then just move on, okay? But if you're 70 or less, then definitely check and confirm, okay? More than half of the answers, you should be 80 to 90% sure. And some of them, like this first one, like customs, where you're like 100% sure, then definitely don't worry about it. Just keep going, right? So here we would check that, you know, it's the right one. And then we would move on. Now here, that answer comes from this part here. Can you read it once you see it? I just highlighted the sentence there in pink.
While in the past, these tapestries
before that,
reflected...
before that, the pink.
Tushkis are deeply personal.
Yeah, that's the first sentence, right? So it's a short sentence, but oftentimes short sentences are really important sentences. That's why they're short, is so that they can really emphasize that point. Tushkits are deeply personal. So there's the answer, right? So we know that it's personal. Okay. Why were you only 70% sure, Olawunmi? I thought you'd be more sure than that. You're like, yeah, I'm not 100% sure. You want to be confident. Okay, that's why I'm laughing with you, because I want to really send this message that, I think a lot of people don't have enough confidence, because with foreign languages we lack confidence. The trick to language learning is definitely confidence. And when you're in an English speaking country, or when you're using English, always be confident. Always be confident. I think one of the biggest fallacy means the wrong idea or the wrong thought, is that native English speakers are always better than non-native English speakers. I completely disagree with that. I think a lot of people who speak English as a second language use English better than a lot of native speakers. So always be confident, okay, Olawunmi?
Yes, please.
Okay, so be super confident.
Thank you.
Because you're doing a great job. You're welcome. You're doing a great job. You had 3 out of 3. That was really good. Thank you, Olawunmi, for volunteering again.
Thank you.
All right, let's give Olawunmi a thumbs up. That was really good. Ariadna, I see you're here. Can you unmute yourself? Hi.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, Ariadna.
How was your morning?
It's going all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a couple of sneezes and my throat got weird, but I'm okay. Oh, I feel good.
Oh, I
feel
hope you
good.
will be. Yeah, I hope you will be okay. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm starting to think it's like some weird, strange form of what they're calling long-form COVID or something.
Yeah, I
like
think
that,
it's because the weather is so horrible.
I think it's because human experimentation with virus and bacteria. But we'll agree to disagree. Ariadna, have you been following the class?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, then let's do 31. Another interesting aspect. You should see it on the screen here.
Another interesting aspect of the Tush Kids is that the symbolism can also reflect importance, such as when they include symbolism associated with the cotton industry. I think it will be economic importance.
Yeah, I agree with you. At first, I thought it was cultural when I was reading.
Yeah, at first me too. Yeah, but it's about this industry, so I think it was a big money for the Kyrgyzstan, so therefore economic.
Yeah, absolutely. If we're very, very visual readers, I agree with you, and I'm quite sure that's the right answer, economic importance. If we're very visual readers, we can even create visualization as we read. So I visualized that maybe before the cotton industry, it was livestock industry. Like they had different kinds of animals that might appear on the tapestry, because that's also economic importance, right? Like if you're a guy or a woman and you have lots of farm animals, and then you're kind of rich, and then you probably have that on the tapestry, right? So one year it's cotton, the other year it's animals.
I have this memory when I was once in Uzbekistan and I saw the enormous fields of cotton. So I think it was the same in Kyrgyzstan.
Absolutely. Very good. Good critical thinking, Ariane. I'm impressed. All right. Let's leave these last few fill in the blank ones for homework, and we'll jump to some of the multiple choice questions here. So you should see number 36 coming up. Go ahead and read that for us when you see it.
How many sides of the Tush Kids lack a border?
Okay, what does that mean? Before you tell me the answer, can you tell me that question in a different way? What is that actually saying? How many sides of the Tush Kids lack a border?
I remember in this text it was borderless. So no border on how many sides. It has no border.
Exactly. So lack a border means not having a border. And you're right. Very smart. You realize that, okay, in the text it was borderless. And how many sides do not have a border?
So I I heard only on the top, so one side. So
One
big.
side, one side. It's actually at the bottom, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, maybe at the bottom, but definitely one.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
again, if we're very visual here, everybody, we understand why, right? So remember, Ariadna, it said the bottom is left borderless, and there's a very good reason for that. So again, visually, whenever you're in the IELTS and you're confronted with a text that's extremely visual, and this is a very visual text, they're talking about a specific piece of cultural art and tradition that the Tush gets here. So you've got the bottom that's left borderless. There's nothing on the bottom, right? Basically, it's like so do you ever watch one of your like favorite TV shows, Ariadna, and then it says to be continued?
Yeah, to be continued. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think it's because this Tush is not finished. So it's about the future for this couple. So
Absolutely.
they begin, and it will be finished in many years, decades.
If I were a millionaire, like a super millionaire, and I had a lot of time on my hands, I love collecting things. I have a coin collection, a card collection, a stamp collection. I collect. I'm a collector, Ariadna. And I tell you, if I were a millionaire, reading this passage, you know what I would love to do? I would love to find a family in Kyrgyzstan who has left this tradition. The kids maybe moved to the city and they've kind of forgotten about this tradition, and see if I can collect all of their ancestors' Tush gets and put them all together.
Yeah, it will be
a story.
Great, story, family story. So
right. So if I have the generation to generation Tush gets, I could literally sew them together from the bottoms, continuing forward, and you would have that family's lineage as like this super long tapestry. Right? What an amazing thought! I bet you somebody's thought about it.
Like here in Europe, we have this. Paintings about kings and queens and others, so
absolutely
like
absolutely. And you know, they in Europe they did the same. We just lost the tradition a long time ago.
In Italy too.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. European countries for royalty had the tapestries. Yeah, if you go to some castles or some museums, you can actually find European tapestries of royal families, right? They also did this tradition.
But in Poland too, we have this.
Absolutely.
Even big.
And see, now we're excited, and that's good. Everybody, that's what you want. You want to be interested and excited about your IELTS topics, because as soon as you're interested and excited, it just makes a lot more sense. Our brains love to participate. When their brain gets excited on a topic, then it becomes a lot clearer. Wouldn't you agree, Ariadna?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So 37. Can you read that one for me?
What is the main point of the Tush kids? The main point, the main purpose of.
Yeah. And so the way you solve this answer, or so the way you solve this multiple choice, is you don't look at the choices. You try to answer it on your own, right? So what is it? Ariadna, what's the main point of the Tush kits?
The main point, it was about the pride of Kyrgyz people in this text, about the union of the couple.
Okay. Yeah. Let's focus it. Let's narrow and let's focus. You're kind of funneling into the main point. Visualize it. Where does the couple sit during the wedding ceremony?
In the front. So the Tushkits is behind them.
Why?
Because they look in the future.
And so the Tushkis is the author
background.
Exactly. Remember what the author so the author multiple times in the passage emphasizes this point, right? They say that
maybe is heirloom of these people. heirloom.
Remember in a couple of places, the author says the Tischgitz is the backdrop or the background of the couple. It displays their interests, their customs, where they come from. So it acts as the backdrop. And then I think in two places in the passage, the author says literally and figurative. So figuratively and literally, like it's their backdrop, like it's behind them, it's their backdrop, and it's literally their past, right? So let's see what the choices are, and let's see if we can see something here. So now go ahead and read the choice. Yeah, exactly. So now read the choices and see which one is going to be the closest to this.
To be an aesthetic object, to be a part of bride's dowry, to be a frame for the newly married pair, and to act as cultural foundation for the couple. D.
To act as a cultural foundation
for the couple.
Do you feel that is the closest match for a backdrop, both figuratively and literally? Yes, I agree with you. Yeah, be confident.
I think it's cultural foundation.
Absolutely, it is. That's the backdrop, right? It's like, this is where you come from, right? So it's, that's what it acts as. We're going to put it behind you. They, just again, I'm very visual, Ariana. we could put it under them, right? So we could use that as a carpet, right? And it would literally and figuratively become the foundation for them, right? The foundation is the bottom part. It's what we build on top of. So we could use it as a carpet. And maybe somebody's thought about that hundreds of years ago, but then they decided, we shouldn't do that. You know why, Ariadna? Because mom and grandma worked so hard for many years to make it. So let's not put it under their feet, right? Let's put it behind them, right? But theoretically, it could go under their feet and they could be going upwards, right, into the future as well. Do you get what I'm
but it's very
laughing?
Logically question for the children. Why the carpet hangs on the wall?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Well, grandma and mom worked really hard to make it, so they don't want it to get destroyed so quickly. But there you have the Turkish people, or the Persians, who made the Persian rug, and it's the same idea, right? And they said, let's just really make it the foundation and let's put it under people's feet.
Carpets,
right.
Great, beautiful,
Exactly. All right, Ariadna, thank you so much for volunteering. That was awesome. Always a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me, and have a nice day. Thank you very much.
Bye, Ariadna.
Thank you.
All right, that was Ariadna. Let's give her a thumbs up. That was really good. So again, very visual, critical, logical thinking will get you most of the answers. And hey, if you're enjoying what you're reading, then for sure you're going to do a better job. If you're skimming and scanning and getting frustrated and searching for answers and hating life, it's going to be a tough fight. Don't do it, okay? All right, students, I'm going to leave the remainder of these questions, these last three multiple choice questions. There they are. And they're in the video. You can check out the video again for the questions. You can see them in several places throughout the lesson today. There's the filling in the blanks, the remaining questions. Thank you to my volunteers. That was really good. The Tischgitz, it was really enjoyable. I would love to have a collection of these Tischgitz if I were a millionaire, as I said, but then again, I would kind of feel bad because I know they're very personal objects. I would, you know what? I would return them I would collect them and return them to the living family members and say, hey, this is your history. I collected this for you. All right, so that's reading Tapestry of Lives. Students, aehelp.com for academic IELTS and gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. We're going to be doing a listening section from these websites in just 30 minutes. General IELTS looks like this. Again, click the big red button to join the premium package. I'm just going to end the Zoom session, everybody. Thank you again so much. We have these Zoom sessions twice a week for our premium students. We're the whole session. It's not on YouTube. It's all through Zoom, so it's very effective, very efficient. If you want to join those Zoom sessions, become a premium student. I know many of you are. Click that big red button at gieltshelp.com to join the premium package, or at aehelp.com. Click those big red buttons, and then you get the Zoom links for your weekly live classes. It doesn't cost a lot of money. It's a one-time payment. You get lifetime access. So really, really worth it. Romelia, Carolina, our moderators, thank you. Anna, Domenico, thank you as well for being members. To all of the participants and all of our viewers, hopefully I will see you in 30 minutes time for listening, and until then, stretch your legs, get refreshed, get hydrated, drink a nice warm cup of tea, and I'll see you back here soon. I'm Adrian. I'm checking out for now from Victoria, Canada.